You know what? I'm mad. I'm mad at Mama. Find out why in this week's Snarkcast. Hey, welcome to episode 34. It's Friday, May
16.
16th. I've been traveling the last couple of weeks, so I am completely out of it. But I got a beef with Mama, and that's how we're going to start off today. We're going to settle this beef. You mentioned a couple of months ago, several weeks ago, who knows? Time is ephemeral.
Right.
But you mentioned that a lot of people were commenting that Lulu was not in the opening credits.
Yeah.
So ever since you said that, I have been watching the opening credits every day like a freaking hawk, and she's still not in.
No Lulu.
But I found out why. They only do the photo shoots a couple of times a year. So whenever they have their next photo shoot, I'm sure they'll shoot her and stick her in. But I have noticed something. They've done too many photo shoots because some people in that opening look great. Other people look pissed, mad, bored, or just like, take the damn picture.
Well, do you remember even gorgeous Charles Measure's opening credit picture was like, this is not the guy that's in the show. What is this? So
did they go to that portraits place in the mall for these photos? I mean, they're really...
Hey,
some of them
I've been
really
there,
bad.
and in the edit, I will put my picture of me going to the Glamour Shot at the mall because it is epic. So that will show up right there.
Oh, you know what? I might have one too, because I dated a guy who was a product photographer, which meant he did like catalogs and advertisements. He would photograph food and, different furniture and things like that. And then he became the manager of one of those portrait places. I'm going to see if I can dig up mine and we'll post it here as well.
Okay, that's excellent.
Embarrassing photos from our past.
We talk about the embarrassing people on General Hospital all the time. Why not throw ourselves in the mix?
We should be just as embarrassed as everyone else. So anyway, back to Lulu. What are your thoughts on Lulu this week?
Okay, so this morning in preparation for the podcast, because I'm going to do my homework, I made a list. You can't see it. A list of all the stories that are going on right now, the big stories, because there are little stories embedded in stories, right? So we have the adoption story. As a tributary of the adoption story, we have Rocco got drunk and Dante is losing his mind over Gio, which is a stupid plot point. Dante is wholly out of character, but as I said on the page today, he is as bad as Lulu right now. Because everyone has said, Lulu, don't say anything about that, blah, blah, blah. And here's Cody going, yes, tell him. So we know she's going to spill the beans, or someone is. And over here, how many people have told Dante to give Gio a break? 7, 10? I don't know. And he's still doubling down. So that's annoying. I'm mad at Dante right now.
I'm to the point where I have lost track of where everybody is in the secret. So like when Cody said, oh, I didn't know she had the baby.
Right.
I'm not following. What?
Brooklyn gave birth to Dante's baby, a boy. And then she gave him up.
I'm like, I just assumed, he knew the whole, if he knew that part, the beginning part, didn't he know the rest of the story? Like, wouldn't you have asked at some point, hey, Brooklyn, you ever have that baby? Or did you?
That I think that was pretty on point for Cody in the sense that he seems to be a little bit removed from reality and not really tuned in and can't really read the room. So that doesn't surprise me that teenage Cody would not have necessarily followed up on that. But yes, you're right. Everybody knows something, but nobody knows everything except maybe Lulu, but she doesn't know. She just has her spidey senses and various things she's discovered.
Everybody knows something, but nobody knows the whole truth except for Lois and Granny Cirillo. But it's confusing because, when Chase is sitting there and they're openly talking, I'm like, oh, that's right. He knows everything.
Except he doesn't know Gio.
Except for Gio. Right. Yeah. That's the missing link. Lulu pretty much knows the whole story. She's just filling in the pieces. It's tiring because, as you pointed out on the page this week, it's just the whole show is just secrets right now.
Sometimes it's all about
Lucky comes in.
I'm actually going to write something on Substack about Soap stack.
Soap stack. We've renamed it, folks. It's now Soap Stack.
I'm going to write something on Substack about this trope of secrets. And, there's a big bag of soap tropes, right? It's surprise child, baby switched at birth, I married the wrong person, back from the dead. I mean, there are a million, right? But you're right this minute, almost every single story. Let me go over the major stories. The adoption story, Gio's adoption story. The accident story with Kristina. It's all about secrets. Drew and Willow's story. Yes, it's secrets. Yeah, because Drew and his manipulations.
Right.
Joss and the WSB with Emma and Drake. Secrets, right? And the only thing without secrets is the nurses' ball, because that's just nonsense and twaddle.
And you ever notice we're at that point again? They're talking about the nurses' ball. They're talking about the nurses' ball. They're talking about the nurses' ball. You get a day or two of rehearsals, and it's going to start next week. But it's just like then all of a sudden it's here.
All these acts that they've been talking about, we won't see.
Right.
It's like, we're going to give Donna an act, and we might see her, but mostly we're going to talk about it. So in case we have to cut it, she did perform.
I want to see Tracy's act.
That better not just be a stupid tease.
That better not. Yeah, but I heard all these guests are coming on, and half of the people don't even know who these people are. Wouldn't you think it would be like your demographic is, skews older on this show? So, Frank, why not get an older act that people know, and you can probably get them a lot cheaper than these of the moment. Even know who's in the top 40 anymore. So if any of these people are in the top 40, somebody out there, please enlighten me, because I don't listen to the top 40 anymore. But it's like, come on, go get Air Supply. Everybody knows Air Supply. I'd watch them. Bring back Jack Wagner.
Right, exactly. Ned. We can have Ned perform, and maybe he will, but we haven't seen him doing his thing. But you're right. The nurses' ball is truly for entertainment purposes only. And even then it kind of misses the objective. But as our Snarkies have been predicting for months, the Gio reveal will likely happen in the middle of the nurses' ball, or they're in nurses' ball adjacent.
I don't know. Now that the writers of General Hospital have discovered secrets, they can really postpone things coming out, because all they have to do is we've been sitting on this secret for a while. Let's have somebody else find out who is not critical to the story, but could be involved with the story. So Cody's the latest.
So I'm going to shift a little bit, but it's the same kind of thing. I was startled is the word I would use, to see Alexis and Lucky in a scene together with the non-car in the garage. It was like they were both like, what are you doing? That was weird. It just felt weird. And the question I posed on the page today, and the one I'd like to ask you, is why is Lucky defending Kristina when he knows she almost killed Elizabeth? Why?
Because we need to have a secret that comes out, and then Elizabeth will get mad at him and not want to reunite with him. I mean, I know there's a lot of Lucky Liz fans. Do they have a squish name? I only know Liaison. Yeah, I don't even. Hey, another question for you folks.
Allison DeFresnay, do they have a squish name? We will do our homework.
Do they have a squish name? I mean, again, no objection to them getting back together, but as Elizabeth astutely, and probably the writers, because they know the writing's on the wall, they don't got Jonathan Jackson forever.
Boy, they sure pre-evented that yesterday.
He is gonna.
I mean, they practically gave him his pink slip with Liz lying on the couch going, yeah, he's probably not going to stick around.
Right. She's ready. I do like the new little friendship that's formed between Liz and
Lucas. Yeah.
That was not any other Lucas. I mean, they might have had interactions in the past, but I mean, the most recent Lucas, Ryan Carnes, I don't remember him ever really.
Well, Ryan wasn't dishy in the sense, in the real sense of, do you have tea? He was not that. He was much more buttoned up, right? This Lucas is like, okay, I'm going to bring you flowers and booze. Tell me everything, and I love that. That's exactly It's exactly who he should be. And it's working so well. And it makes
and we don't have Felix anymore. We don't have Felix. So
right. And Felix brought that, but I think even Van Hansis is really I love him. Everybody knows that. I love new Lucas. He is, for me, right now, he is the only true Lucas because he is wholly embracing the fullness of the character, which is he's Carly's cousin, for heaven's cousin, half brother. He's going to have
stepbrother. Sorry. Yeah, they're not blood related at all.
No. Who knows? Of course, Lucas has been related to various people at various times, and then they retcon his parentage as they go. But he just, he needs to have a bigger personality, and he does now. I mean, what I'm saying is the character needed that, and Van is providing that. And I'm
thinking too, because of the casting of, and again, I should know these actors' names, but
Marco.
Oh, yeah, Marco. Because he's sort of a big personality, but in a subtle way, not like a flashy. There's a big personality. You kind of need Lucas to sort of step up. Lucas was written very passively during the whole Lucas Brad baby switch storyline. And again, I don't know if it was Ryan Karn's schedule or it was probably recurring. He wasn't on enough during that. If you remember, that was all Brad and Julian.
Yes, it was that whole thing was handled very strangely, I thought.
Yeah. And I mean, to this day, people are still plot whispering that they want to see Lucas get custody of Wiley, which I think
that still could be a thing. Yeah, the Drew and Willow story. We have the Carly preempting Michael on the divorce here. It's okay, Michael. You don't have to come home. I will handle your custody battle.
Mama will take care of it. Yeah.
Because that's the way it works in court. Not.
Carly is a conundrum under the current writing regime because, as we all know, Elizabeth Corte is one half of the writing team. Carly is her goddess. I mean, it's refreshing, but on the one hand, it's very odd to see Carly making rational sense with Lulu about the secret and the damage it could be doing. And then the next day, she's arguing her crazy schemes to Diane.
That's probably more accurately Carly than anything, but notice she's not really part of a main story right now. She is an afterthought, right? Yeah. Which is appropriate, but Carly's never really in the background because she has her fingers in all the pots, right? She's got it in the Lulu story. She's got it in the Drew story. She's got it in the Joss and Emma story in a way. I mean, she will get there. So yeah. The only thing she's not touching is the accident.
Right. She's far enough away from that for some reason. What I loved this week was Joss and Vaughn spending an entire episode searching the office to then conclude, oh, it's not in the office. It's going to be in the lab. Why did you start there? They're both idiots.
They are both idiots. Oh.
And Vaughn trained her. I loved her in her little, detector thing. Like, for, I guess that's for
what
bugs.
Was she scanning for? Bugs?
I think bugs or cameras.
Cameras or something. I mean,
must have been.
Like if there were cameras, they wouldn't see the person scanning for it. That's so dumb. People.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Get out your WSB manuals and, figure it out.
Well, I mean, the WSB, this super secret organization where everybody knows who's in it except for Joss, because nobody can know that Joss is an agent. But everybody else, Vaughn wears his little WSB branded shirt all the time and makes no apologies. Yet, he's the cool guy on the beach going swimming in the freezing water, and now he's the janitor at the college. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta love it.
He's a handy person to throw into a scene if they need to prop up Joss. So there you go.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
I know you're gonna ask me the question, who is my character of the week? And I'm kind of struggling right now to try to find someone. I don't know. David, who's your character of the week?
Surprisingly, even though I'm still wrestling with her good day, bad day, Carly, because she gave really good advice to Lulu And she sort of squirreled out of her mistake about getting the court date set. I mean, yes, it's, it's a risk, as Diane said, but I just love watching Diane kind of the wheels turning and how she's going to spin everything. I thought that was great. So yeah, so Carly's not overwhelming me right now.
I think that's a really excellent observation. I think she's in her sweet spot right now. Yeah. And obviously we're going to see this court thing moving up and we'll get more Carly-ness.
Well, and of course, everybody's out there going, okay, court date's June 2nd. Is that when the new Michael's coming on? Oh, no, they're going to get it postponed. Is this when the new Michael's going to come on? We don't know. We don't know what's up with that.
We don't know.
Frank and his super secret casting. I mean, for all we know, he could be out in the parking lot right now finding the next Michael. Let's hope not, but.
Okay, so I think I know who my character of the week is.
Okay, go ahead.
I think my character of the week is Emma. We got to go back a couple of days, but her realizations about Joss and the thumb drive and her pain at losing this position that she needed to further her cause.
Right.
This young actress, Braden Bruner, is just knocking it out of the park. This was a great recast.
And her chemistry with her grandmother.
Oh, yeah. She has chemistry with everybody.
She pretty much does. Yeah.
So she's a win. Actually, I am most interested in the Joss, Dalton, Emma, not Vaughn, but what is going on there. And I want to see, obviously, I've said this a million times, I want to see the two of them come together, have a WSB caper-esque, and go on their merry way. I think that would be awesome. I mean,
Emma could be Felicia to her Anna.
No kidding. I just think there's an incredible, I mean, we could do our whole Cagney and Lacey thing with these two girls if they kept at it. It would be great.
No, I love them together. And what was highlighted this week for me, as I mentioned last week, then there was that obligatory scene with Trina. And I'm just like, these two.
All right. So the Kai and Trina thing is, I would put that as a tributary of the Drew plot, right?
Because he's paying for connected to that. Yeah.
What was the point of that whole thing? First of all, we've lost the documentarian. He's gone. Is the documentary done? I don't know.
Which and just yesterday, whatever day that was, the episode before, Trina was complaining about the documentarian.
Right, but we haven't seen him. Yeah.
Yet the next day with Stella, there was no documentarian in sight.
And I'm sorry, I am not going to get worked up about the fact that a young man who just had spinal surgery is not allowed to leave the hospital to see the nurses. Why do they make that a thing? First of all, he shouldn't be in the hospital. He should be in a rehabilitation center, not taking up a bed in a hospital.
But if he's not in the hospital, we're never going to get a scene with Stella, because that's her only function these days, is to prop up Kai, which I hate. Stella. I hate when they use characters to prop up other characters.
Yep.
I'd rather watch this makes it sound like, both choices are bad. But I'd rather watch A Million Tea Times with Tracy and Stella.
Oh, yeah.
Than any Stella Kai interaction. It's just, it's too sunshiny, this whole plot. Like, nothing happened to him. Like, where's the drama in that?
I think it's really sad that the only Black family we have on General Hospital is just, with the exception of Curtis,
right,
who has finally come back to himself. But what they've done to Portia, Trina and Kai are throwaway scenes. They are just, it's not a story. And Jordan is finally getting some time to be herself and to do her thing. And I wanted to point out, I loved her integrity when she told Curtis, if you're going to whine about your wife, I don't think I'm the right person. Of course, then she ended up listening to him. But still, I loved that she.
But she has a point, and it's like, really, Curtis, we're doing this again, going to your ex-wife and instead of your wife. I mean, that's a soap thing. You gotta go to somebody and go, I suspect my wife might not be telling the truth. Instead of, in a good marriage,
going to the wife,
go to your wife and say, is there something I'm not getting here? But I mean, the husbands on this show, or the men on this show, when they become, there are exceptions, but when they become husbands, they sort of become emasculated. I mean, look at Chase. Chase is the most boring. I mean, a lot of people say Chase is always boring, but he did have other plot lines and was involved with different things over the years. But he's become so boring because he's just a talk to character.
He's just a husband right now. That's
He's just
all.
a husband.
We don't see him detecting. We don't see him doing police work. We don't see anything.
We don't see him in a scene with Dante and seeing any of the guilt.
I hope that's coming. My guess is that is coming as this adoption story kind of reaches its crescendo and then the aftermath. And I think that's when Chase and Dante will have their things in the aftermath of why didn't you tell me and blah, 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 you know.
But I mean, it would be a great tease all along to have these scenes where they have to work together. They're partners.
Foreshadowing? You want foreshadowing?
I know. I'm asking too much.
You can't foreshadow what you haven't thought of yet.
I'm asking too much. See, I watch old soaps online, and the foreshadowing is, for the most part, subtle. When there is foreshadowing on General Hospital, it's like a hammer hitting glass. Like there's no
foreshadowing in General Hospital is just showing us the boulders on the road, and we see a car going by. We go, "Oh, there's going to be a crash." That's the foreshadowing.
Yeah. Or party at the beach. What could go wrong?
Right. Yeah. Like everyone called that one. Our Snarkies are so smart when it comes to anticipating what's coming next. They have nailed everything. And I
wonder if I can't guess what's coming. I mean, after all my years of soap watching, I wonder if I can't guess what's coming next because I'm just that dumb or I don't care. You know, like the only thing I was looking forward to was like Kai being paralyzed, and that didn't happen. Although I will give props to actor, whatever his name is. He's been learning to act on our time. He's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten a little more animated. He's gotten a little more believable that it's not just line readings.
He has a very sweet, gentle energy about him, which is needed. But just to have that in isolation and not have it mean something in a story is because right now they're writing him to be extremely naive. The fact that he can't figure out that Drew would want something from him is just and of course we've all said, where the heck are his parents? Why aren't
anyone siblings?
Right. So I'm just afraid that Kai and Trina are throwaway characters at this point, and frankly, I don't want them to be any more than that. Because
agreed. But the problem is, Kai and Trina are like almost the exact same person.
Yeah,
it's like they cancel each other out, and you know, you would think again, God forbid they should delve into character development. You know, why isn't Trina being, I don't know, more grateful that she's got a great boyfriend after she was jerked around by Spencer for so long? I mean, all the drama that came with Spencer, yes, I'm sure Kai is very refreshing.
Well, we haven't learned anything about him. We don't know anything about him.
We don't know anything about him, right?
So how can we the only thing we know about him is that he's tall and should have played basketball, which is, that should lead me. Let me just throw in text messages since we're talking about this.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Text messages from Wicked Stepmother, right? Because she had things to say about this.
Oh, good.
I can't believe this tall, handsome guy was a football star. He should have been cast as a basketball star. And I said, we all said that. She says, oh, I'm part of the chorus. And then I said, Joss and Emma have so much more chemistry than Joss and Trina. And she said, true that. Emma smells a rat, methinks. Joss playing Harriet the Spy doesn't ring true to me. The writers have to do better than they have so far. Thank you, Wicked Stepmother, for weighing on Kai.
That's perfect.
But that's all we know. We know he's tall. We know he loves football. We know he loves Trina. We know nothing else. Except he learned to love art because of Trina.
Right. And what about Drew? Drew is the gift that keeps on giving. This week with his angles, how we're going to spin this case, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's just like, and I just loved Cynthia Watras, Nina's just sitting there
throwing in.
And then him going, Stop interrupting with facts that are important. Like, he needs to know this.
I loved the parallel between the two scheming sides. Diane, yes. Jason, Carly over here making their thing, and then we have Crazy Drew and Rick. It's going to be the most fantastic crap show on the planet when they finally get into court. You know that General Hospital can either nail it with the courtroom scenes, or they can really bleh. And I'm hoping this is big drama. I mean, I want bodies thrown around. I want bitch slapping. I want jurors coming out of the jury box. I want the whole drama.
That's the big mistake that soaps make. I mean, you could tell when a courtroom scene is written by someone who's an attorney. Now, Ron Carlivati is an attorney. His courtroom scenes were always like, he knows he has to operate within the existing laws and what you can get away with and not get away with in court. But it's the way he does it that was always so clever. A lot of the courtroom scenes on General Hospital fall flat because it's being written by laymen who don't.
Well, instead of using the courtroom scene as the pivotal point in the drama, they use it as a drive-through to get you to the other side. And they're missing this whole opportunity to have a lot of courtroom drama. Hey, courtroom drama is good. We watch, how many times have we seen Law and Order? We watch that stuff. It's good. But
there was a whole soap about courtroom drama, The Edge of Night.
Yeah.
And they were known for, not my soap recommendation, we'll get to that, but they were known for entire episodes where it would be just the attorney questioning the person on the stand. And there was one episode, which I think they did live, where it was just the attorney giving his summation for 22 minutes.
Wow.
It was amazing. Yeah, they took more risks back then. But anyway, getting to my soap recommendation of
yes, sir.
I teased it. This week, we're going to turn to another country. No, we're not putting tariffs on anyone here. We're just talking about other country soaps, because there are soaps in other countries that are just as riveting, if not more so, than the American soaps. And of course, you know, a lot of people are familiar with the British soaps like Coronation Street, which I believe 65 years later is the longest running soap in the world, and EastEnders. I always used to make a joke with my friends because every time I would turn on, and I think they both have pubs as sort of their central location, every time I would turn on EastEnders or Coronation Street, it was always somebody looking for somebody. You know, it's like, have you seen him? Have you seen John? Oh, I saw John yesterday. Oh, well, I'm looking for him. Have you seen him? That was all the episodes were for me. But flipping around on YouTube, I've discovered a lot of soaps. There's this great German soap called Forbidden Love, and there was a gay love story between these two characters, Christian and Oliver. And again, what's great about the foreign soaps is they're now streaming on a lot of sites. If you go to like the Roku channel, I know Amazon Prime streams some of them. I think even Hulu streams some of them. But if you go to YouTube and you just want to sample a soap, I got involved with this whole Christian and Oliver storyline. And thank you, people out there in YouTube land, for like cutting together every single scene that characters had. So I could watch like 2 years of a story in about 2 hours. So check out some of those foreign soaps and let me know what you think. They're quite good.
Let's not skip over the telenovelas.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that is
a whole nother recommendation.
That's peak soap stuff. I mean, that is high drama. And if you don't watch telenovelas, there's a shortcut to figuring out what we're talking about. And that is the 30 Rock episode where Jack is dating a woman and her grandmother is addicted to the telenovelas, and she doesn't like Jack because he looks like the general on that show that is bad.
I remember that.
It captures the flavor of the telenovela so beautifully and funny, and of course, you know, in a satirical way. But there's
and on telenovelas, the women are gorgeous, the men are gorgeous, and often shirtless.
Yes.
And
lots of boobs.
Everything's sort of sped up. They play more like nighttime soaps because they do them in story arcs. So sometimes the story arc is like 30 weeks, sometimes it's 13 weeks. And you get a lot of drama packed in there. There's no filler episodes on telenovela. That's for sure.
And one more, as long as we're talking about international soaps, don't forget the Korean soaps and the Japanese soaps.
Yes.
They are great. I mean, I have a friend who won't watch American soap operas, but she is absolutely gripped to the Korean ones with, subtitles and everything. And she's just like, oh my gosh, they're so great. So there you go.
And the Korean ones there's a whole category on Netflix.
There you go.
Korean telenovelas. Yeah, they're very, very popular. So there you go.
Melodrama is the way to go.
Homework.
Yep.
Well, thank you once again for tuning in. We're here every week. Like, follow, subscribe, not only to this Snarkcast, but to our page, to our Instagram. And yes, we're still on X.
And don't forget Substack, where we write long form articles like my personal favorite, The Assification of Dante Falconeri. So don't miss that either.
My first post, which will be probably appearing by Monday. I will give myself till Monday. Excellent. And it's called Monica.
Awesome.
Tribute to Marsha.
Yes. All right. Everyone, we love you. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Bye.